Yo, what up, nerds? It's LSI Kongu, coming at you today with a deck profile for ORCUST ZEFRA. I had a few requests after my YGO Pro video to showcase this deck, so I want to just go through it for a few people that requested it. Um, Sorry I couldn't get somebody to record it for me. I'm going to be doing this one-handed. So yeah, I was going to go do it at locals this weekend or last weekend, but I just couldn't get a ride and just haven't had time to get somebody to record it for me. So sorry about that. But let's just get right into it. So first up, we have our Zefra lineup. I only run one Zefrath. I don't think it's necessary to run more than one because you're going to be searching it most of the time, either off of Electromite or your Zefra spell cards. We run two Zefra Nuis. This guy is the best Zefra card by far. He searches your Zefra Divine Strike or your Zefra spell, Zefra Province that searches your Divine Strike. He is just way too good for the deck. He's the best. And he has good synergy with Jackal King because like you can search your spell card and then activate Jackal King's counters if you don't have any on him prior to like going into Guard Dragon combo or ORCUST. And then last off for this build, I'm running just one Zefrathubin. I do really like Wendy and Zefraxiton, but I'm trying to bring the bricks down to as low as I can because there's a lot in this build. So right now I'm just running these. And then we got the Endymion engine, which is phenomenal. It's amazing. So of course 3 Servant, best Endymion card. I love seeing this card. This is what you want to see, especially with that Nibiru rock running around. And then one of the Endymion Mighty Master of Magic. This guy's really strong. Like the fact that like this ability right here is when you activate it, it counts as a spell effect, right? So when you summon him after removing 6 counters, like it's still a spell effect. So even if they're negating monster effects or anything like that, like you can still activate it, and super good against Striker. You can see my first replay on the recent video how well this card works against Striker. Then, of course, we got 3 Chronograph. It's just a good extender. And the Time Gazer, of course. I know everybody says this about every Pendulum deck, but like Time Gazer, people always forget like its first effect. I got people trying to pop my scales and I have this out. I'm like, there's a reason I summon this first. Even like if I normal summon it, they're like, why'd you normal summon that? And I'm like, you'll find out. So yeah, that card's really good. Right now I have 3 Time Gazer, or Harmonizing, sorry. She's really strong, but I might cut it down a little bit because I don't like seeing more than one in my hand. Just organize this. Okay, so yeah. Then 2 Purple Poison. He's just really good. What's really cool about Purple Poison is if somebody negates its effect to pop, and like after it gets popped and sent to the extra deck, and then if they pop it, negate and destroy it, and it gets destroyed again and goes to the grave, but you can activate it again. So that's really good. God, this camera works terrible, I'm sorry. Next up, 3 of the Mythical Beast Master Cerberus. He's good, but I honestly kind of want to cut him because he loses so hard to Ash. Like, and I don't like having a scale 4. If he was a scale 3, it'd be so much better. But yeah, having him stuck in scale really sucks. But then again, it's an extender, so it helps dilute your bricks. So it's kind of a hard trade-off, and it's good to side him out if you are struggling against an Ash. And then to go along with that, I got 2 Jackal Kings. Standard, really good. And then I do run Garuda. I think it's a good card. There's so many points where it comes up, and I need to pop like some specific floodgate or something that is problematic. And then we got, of course, 3 Dark Worms. Very strong for that Guard Dragon combo. I run 3 because like if I draw 2, or if I activate 1, send 1 to the grave, or draw 2 things to send it to grave like a Foolish and a Dragon Shrine, I want to be able to still summon it with LP, especially if I have Destrudo or something. And then the 1 Gate 0, you don't want to draw it. 1 Amorphage Sloth, Been running this for a while. Shout out to Team Kings of Games for bringing this out. He's the one who first used this. The next ORCUST lineup, I run 1 Harp Horror, 1 Symbol Skeleton, and 2 ORCUST Nightmares. The reason I run 2 is because I was finding myself drawing it so much, like 1 card in like a nearly 60 card deck, and I was drawing it so much, so I really had to put 2 in. I don't like to see them, but you know, your mermaid is useless if you draw it. And then Destrudo for our last monster. So there's our monster lineup. Now let's move on to list spells. Let's move this on. Alright, so we got 3 pen calls. Just to go along with the Dark Worm. Higher chance of drawing the Dark Worm since I do run 3. Of course, you can't rely on just drawing pen call Dark Worm, so it is smart maybe not to run 3. I just like running 3. And then the 2 Duelist Alliance, because with your Servant, it's really good to just activate Duelist Alliance, then activate pen call. I was running 2 and 2 before. I might go back to that. I don't know, I just really like seeing pen call. It does lose to Ash hard, though. Same with Cerberus, so yeah, we're probably going to make some changes. Next, 1 Zephyr Providence. So I don't think you need more than 1. A lot of people do run a lot of Zephyr Providences, or all 3 or 2. But I only really use this when I search it off of the Zephyranui. I honestly don't know the right way to say that. But yeah, so we use this, and then we search the Counter Trap or another Zephyr card to build counters. So it's very versatile. There's a lot of utility this card gives you, and you only really need to run 1, in my opinion. We got the 3 Dragon Shrine. You really want to see this? 1 Foolish. You want to get that Dark Worm engrave. You want to get that free special summon without using your normal. It's just too good of a starter, and like it's good Ash bait. So usually you want to, if you draw this in Cerberus, you want to send Dark Worm first, and then specials Dark Worm, unless you have enough extenders other than Cerberus. Like then you can just use Cerberus and bait it, and hopefully pop it with something. So we got 3 Spell Power Masteries. Such a strong card. Like, you want to run 3. No exceptions. Don't run less than 3. Next we have 1 Terraforming. Sad it went to 1, but you know, Mystic Mine. And I think Trickstars probably brought it to that, but it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then 1 Set Rotation. So this is how we're searching our field spells. This is really good in this deck because you can give your opponent Zefra, Oracle Zefra. So when your opponent has this, they can't actually activate it. So when it's set, because they actually have to have a Zephyr card in their deck. So unless they have a Zephyr card in their deck, they cannot activate it. So decks that are very field spell focused, like Trickstar and stuff, like they're screwed if you use Set Rotation to give this to them. And then we search Dragon Ravine or Orchestrated Babel or Babel if we already have our Oracle, or we need to send Dark Worm with Ravine. Or also what's good with Ravine is if you draw your ORCUST lineup or any of these cards, you can just send them to the grave with that. So it's got some utility there. Babel doesn't really come up for me that much. Like, I usually don't even set it with Galatea unless I draw the Counter Trap. So I'm debating whether or not I want to cut it. I'd probably want to replace it with another field spell so my Set Rotation isn't dead. I don't know, maybe that Spellcaster card, what is it called? The one that negates spells when you have a Spellcaster on the field. Can't think of it right now. Then next we have, I do 2 Allures. Might do 3. There's some cards that aren't dark in here from the Zephyr lineup. I don't want to discard my whole hand, but I don't know, you should probably run 3. I might bring it to 3. We'll see. Next up, I do run 3 Into the Voids. it's high risk, high reward. Like, you want to just gas through your deck. You want to get those spell counters on your Endymion cards. And this is what's going to enable you to do that. It's also good ash bait. Like, if they negate it, it's like, oh, sure. And then 1-up start to run off the draw power. So, yeah. And then for traps, I just do 1 Zefra Divine Strike and 1 Orcus Crescendo. Prior to this, I was running one of the Zefra Wars, because it's good for popping, and then if you have 2 Zefra cards in your pendulum zones, you can actually activate from your hand. But it just, there's so many bricks I'm running this deck. Like, look, we're running these 2, like all of these, the Orcus Babel, wherever it is, yeah, over here. Yeah, and you don't want to draw Time Gazer, you don't want to draw Morphate Sloth, you really don't want to draw any of these other than Zefrath, or maybe Zefrani if you have your scales set. Like, these are stuff you want to search. So I don't think it's good to run more than these 2, because there's a big chance you can break in this deck. It's high risk, high reward. It's way more power. It's like you're trading power for your over consistency. So next up, I have extra deck. Of course, Electromite. I don't think I need to explain that. Guard Dragon LP, Hieratic Sphere Seal. Actually should go later, because you do triple burst and then special summon your Destrudo or Darkworm, go into Garpain, bring out your Vortex, and then you go into this. And then Nightmare Phoenix to bring out Mermaid. You might want to run both Phoenix and Cerberus. I just don't have space. It's up to you. Just use this as like a blueprint for how you want to make it. Next I have 2 Galateas. I don't run the Longarisu. I might change to it. I don't know. It's just like, if I get a lot of things negated, it's just nice to have another Galatea. And I don't really have room for Longarisu. But I could remove this. I don't know. This card's just really good though. So like if you fail your Electromite and Guard Dragon combos and you still have enough resources, like you can go into if you like Pen 5, you can go into your Orcus combo, or go into this and then go into Orcus combo. Like it's just so good. Like this plus your Dingirisu to protect this, and you get your negates. So even if it's low on attack, you can still get your negates off. It's just really good. Of course, the 1 Boral Sword, get those OTKs, that damage. Borreload Savage Dragon. You know, maybe I could cut this for Longarisu. It hasn't been coming up as much lately, but it is still a really strong card when you get it out. The fact that you do need like a Link Monster in Grave, though, sometimes makes this card irrelevant, because like they'll stop your combo or something, and you just get like 2 cards like out, or like you just get your 1 harmonizing out somehow, and like it would be nice if you could just have a negate with this. So I kind of miss my Psyframe Lord Omega. But, you know, there's some experimenting we can do. I definitely haven't done enough to validate which is the optimal strategy for this. Then I really like Cyber's Quantum Dragon. This card is so good, like at removing like problematic cards. Only time I really struggle with this is if opponent has like something to take it, like Widow Anchor or something. Like you get attack twice, right? You get attack once, send a card to their hand. So if it's an extra deck monster, it sends their extra deck, so it's so good for that. And then it attacks again, so you get good damage. So I really like this card. I enjoy it. Also, if they steal your card, right? Like, I've had people steal, you can see in my video, they stole my Harmonizing, or, you know, they steal another one of your cards. You can just attack and add it back to your hand. Or if you like Kaiju, like, dude, Kaiju plus this? Now, maybe I'll put some Kaijus in my side deck. And then next up, of course, we got the 1 Ding. He's just so good to combo with. He just protects your cards. I really like the protection effect more than the Send a Grave, but, you know, the Send a Grave does come up a lot, so it's just very versatile. I love the Orcus Ender, and I hope they don't hit it. It hasn't got enough time to shine yet. Then 1 Ades Vortex Dragon. It's just the best Agarpain target for this deck. Alright, and then I'll show you my side deck. This is also a work in progress, but I do run the 3 Dankos. Danko Seka. So yeah, this is just really good for those back row decks you have a hard time dealing with, or those floodgates you don't want them to activate, or Imperial Order. you really don't want them to do that to you and stop all your plays. So you got those. And then if you really don't want them to do anything, put both of these in. Got a red reboot, and hope you draw that 6 out of like 58. I don't remember how many cards in this build, but yeah, those are good options. Next up, I do the 3 Ash Blossoms. I just think it's just so versatile that, like, especially since I really only play at locals mostly. Like, I was not able to go to regionals. I should go because I have a pretty good deck, but just haven't had the time. But yeah, this card's just so good against so many decks. I just think I just miss it every time I remove it from my side deck. So next up, I got 3 Sphere Mode, stop your combo decks. I don't have the rock yet. I don't know if I want to actually switch this out with the rock or not. The thing is, if you don't draw the rock, like turn 1, like if you draw it your turn going second, it's like kind of dead. So I think Sphere Mode's better, but you know, I really haven't play tested enough to be confident on that. And then last up, we got 3 Lancias. It's just good against, you know, your Thunder, your ORCUST, and sometimes like I guess you could use it against Salamangreat if you really want for those Balinks. So that's it for the main profile. That's what I'm running right now. I'll show you a few other cards I'm like debating for the deck. Of course, I said like another Cerberus. Morlow, just really good against Thunder. This deck does so much searching that it really struggles against cards like a Colossus. It also struggles against your Droll and Lock birds. Like, honestly, I usually just pass if I have a good hand, because good hands are just searching. So you might want to put in Called by the Graves in your side deck too. That's another card I'm debating. They're in another deck right now. Linkuriboh and Beat Cop. This is for Mare. Mare is just a good card. This is what I was running before Guard Dragons came out. I would summon this guy, and then I would have also the a Calamities combo. So yeah, we summon Yazi, and then you pop a card, and then you special this, and then you get 3 tokens in addition to him. Bring these guys out, bring him out again. You could just make Borreload. It's just a good like 2-card combo. 1 to 2 card. Abyss Dweller is just really good for, you know, blind matches where you don't know what they're running. Just throw this down, and a lot of times you'll win. It was really hard to cut this card. I don't know if I want to bring it back or not. It's just so good. And then 3 Droll and Locks for cards that search a lot, like Danger decks and stuff. Just really good. There's some other cards I'm debating, like I said, like the Called by the Graves. Maybe another draw card and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and sorry it took so long, but there you go.